Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Amanda and I'm autistic and ADHD. I was watching some videos earlier on the difference between Allistic, which is someone who is non-autistic, versus autistic communication. And I'm just kind of breaking down some thoughts that I had about it. So in this video, it explained how Allistic people want information in small chunks. They want to have a back and forth dynamic. They want to discover information as they go. But autistic people, part of our bottom up processing, we like to give all the information that we have about a subject at first and then give the floor to the next person. They can share. And like we do like to take turns, but it's in bigger chunks of information. And we want to just get out everything that we kind of know about a subject and then go deeper. This often can come across as overwhelming to an Allistic person. It can also come across as being a know-it-all. It can come across as being too pushy. There's a lot of things that how autistic communication has been perceived in the past. So one person asked, well, what are we supposed to do? Just like play their games, give them small information, and like let them pretend that they are discovering information along the way? And I don't think so. I think part of the goal is just to bring awareness. We need more awareness that there are different neurotypes. One of the reasons why autism is a disability is because we are a minority neurotype, and so people are just so used to only operating that there's the neurotypical is the only way to have conversations, and it's just not true. And so when we can bring more awareness, then there can be more give and take in knowing when and how to communicate in different ways. So I was trying to think of like because as y'all know, I've been working on an unmasking journey, and I think unmasking for an autistic person is very important. And I think it's important to be able to talk to an Allistic person and kind of understand where they are coming from. I don't think it's okay to be told that our way of communicating is wrong and that we have to communicate in only a way that an Allistic person can understand us. But there are times when it is beneficial to try to step back and meet an Allistic person where they need to be met. For example, when I call to make a doctor's appointment in the past, oftentimes when the receptionist would answer the phone, I would do a little info dump. You know, my name's Amanda, this is why I'm calling, this is what I need, like just as much information. And it can lead the receptionist to be overwhelmed and not actually able to do their job effectively because they have to type in information in a certain order. So if I just kind of step back a little bit and play the small talk game, because there's always that, how are you doing? And even if you kind of bypass that a little bit, but just wait for the questions and answer them as they ask them, then the interaction is just going to go smoother. They're going to get the information they need. And it isn't, I don't think it's going to compromise either person's way of communicating. But for another example, the first time I went to see my foot doctor, I had a lot of information that I knew I wanted to convey to him on that first appointment, and I was really nervous. And in this point, it was important for me to communicate in my way because it was the only way that I could cope at that point. I could not mask or change my communication behavior because of the anxiety that I was feeling in that appointment. I literally wrote down, I don't know, 3 or 4 paragraphs of everything that I wanted the doctor to know about me at that first appointment. And so when he walked into the room, and he's like, does the whole, hey, how are you? That is such a pet peeve of mine when doctors ask you that, because as an autistic person, I'm confused. I'm like, wait, is this small talk? How are you? Or is this like, you're in an appointment? How are you? I mean, you wouldn't come to see me if you were feeling all fine and dandy now, would you? I don't know. I never know how to take that first, how are you, from nurses or doctors. But I digress. When he came in the room, I literally said, hi, I'm autistic, and I wrote down everything that I want you to hear. Can I please read it to you? And then if you have any more questions, let me know. And so it was really nerve-wracking for me because this was the first time that I advocated for myself in this way. But I did do it, and I just read all the information that I wanted to make sure the doctor knew about me. And oh my gosh, afterwards it felt so good. Like I knew that I said everything I needed to say. But as an allistic doctor, did he get everything? I don't know. So I made sure to check in with him. Like, okay, did you understand? Do you want me to follow up with anything? And he did. He asked me a couple questions, and he was taking notes the whole time I was reading out loud to him. And I wrote it down instead of just making sure to info dump on him. And I say info dump, but that's not really probably the right term, but just my anxiety was so high to go see this doctor. And a lot of that's just because of distrust in the medical system, that I was trying to get over because I needed help. And so it's like, I have to go see this doctor. I have to take these steps. So I was doing everything that I could to lower my anxiety to get through this appointment. But so I wrote it down because I didn't want to forget anything, because of being anxious, right? But it was really a great experience because I felt like I was able to meet my needs in communicating with this doctor. And I felt like then I gave him the opportunity to follow up with any further questions or if he didn't understand anything that I said. So, this is going to vary from relationship to relationship. If you have a friend who's allistic, then when you're talking to them, it is important for them to understand that sometimes you are going to come at them with big chunks of information. And then it's also kind of important for you to remember that they sometimes need follow-up questions, or they might ask you to repeat something because they just couldn't take it all in at once. Also, I know that when I'm texting with a friend, if I haven't talked to them in a long time, doesn't matter if they're allistic or autistic, I will forget to start the conversation with something like, hey, how are you doing? The reason why I picked up that phone to text them something was because there was obviously something on my mind in that moment that made me think of them, and I will just jump straight into the conversation. And I have had friends in the past go, well, hello, good morning to you too. And I used to be so confused by that because it's like, yeah, okay, good morning, whatever. Like, why do we need to say that? Because for an allistic person, starting the conversation with a good morning and then going into the topic you want to talk about is part of their conversation style. Also, it is important to remind allistic people that a lot of times autistic people do not understand or can see the subcontext that is in much of their communication. They are communicating with things between the lines that we don't see, and we should never be held responsible for understanding words that they don't say. So that's where an allistic person needs to take responsibility for their part of the conversation. If they know they're communicating with somebody who is autistic and they say something that is indirect, then we should not be held responsible for understanding that, because we most of the time aren't going to pick up on it. Or if we even do pick up on it, we're going to question whether or not we're understanding it correctly. Another example where allistic people need to be more aware of autistic speech patterns are the fact that a lot of times autistic people are very literal. So if an allistic person says, go take your clothes out of the washing machine, and the autistic person goes to the washing machine, takes out their clothes, or in the dryer, let's say, but leaves the towels and the family clothing. And the the allistic person is like, why did you not empty the dryer? Well, you said, take out my clothes. You didn't say empty the dryer. And to an allistic person, that can often be like, use common sense. But to an autistic person, they might have thought there was a specific reason why they were supposed to remove their clothes only and leave the other clothes. It's not about being lazy or not using common sense. It's about not having the full picture of the allistic person's request. So that's where we just need to work on making sure that everybody is fully understanding each other. Anyway, these are just some kind of thoughts I have on the subject. I am not a medical professional. I am a late diagnosed autistic ADHD woman, and I am learning to unmask and learning, like to say, I'm learning out loud with you guys. And so this is my current understanding of some things that I've just, learned about allistic versus autistic communication in the last couple little while. So until the next video, guys, bye.